Tonight I'm going to be cutting the pieces of wood and then gluing up what's going to be the headstock on this project. Originally I was going to have just maple neck and then maple down the center of the headstock, of course, and a couple strips of red oak on either side, and then more maple. But I acquired some other wood, and so I've got some mahogany for those outer pieces of wood. So it's going to go maple, red oak, and mahogany on either side. And I think that'll look pretty cool once it's all shaped. I'm going to use my standard hook-shaped headstock. And once that's cut and stained, I think it's going to look pretty neat. So I'll be cutting that wood and gluing everything up tonight, and then, getting ready for the next step where I have to get out the jigsaw. Also, a bit of unsolicited advice. I'm going to be using a table saw, and those are real freaking loud. So if you're using tools that are real freaking loud or even moderately loud, wear your damn earplugs. We're building guitars because we presumably like music, and why not preserve the sense that makes that all possible as much as we can? So you can see, this is just, I laid these out. I haven't glued them up yet. I've got my maple, my 2 strips of red oak, and then my mahogany. And I'm gonna glue these up now, clamp them. And then the next step will be to trim down the thickness here at the headstock. And then I will cut the shape. So I'm gonna glue those up now. As far as wood glue, I use Titebond 3 for these projects. It's what I happened to have the first time I built a guitar that had a headstock with multiple pieces of wood glued up. Don't know if it's the best, but some of my instruments are 10 years old and that glue has not failed, and they've been knocked around a bit in some cases, so it seems to work. Oops. Here is the first part, the red oak strips glued up to the maple neck. Here's my line. I just drew that about 7 inches from the end of the board. The headstocks tend to be, I don't know, 5.5, 6 inches, something like that. So that gives me, plenty of wood to work with. Wiped away some of the glue, but there's going to be so much sanding and shaping later. Doesn't really matter that much if it's a lot of glue spilling out over there. You'll notice these are not flush with the top of the maple. That doesn't matter. I'm going to be removing about 1/4 inch of the thickness of the whole headstock later. Now on the back, I tried to match them up pretty good. They're probably not down to the micron, but they're fairly flush on back. That's going to be sanded heavily too, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot, but it definitely makes it easier to sand. I've got them clamped. I'm going to let those sit for 20 minutes or so. I did it like 10 minutes ago, so half an hour total. And then I will add these pieces of mahogany and glue those on, use some bigger clamps, and let that sit until tomorrow evening. And here is all of the headstock woods glued up and clamped. I got the big clamps out for this one. So we got our maple, our red oak, and our mahogany strips, and that's gonna set all night, and then I'll be ready to take the next steps.